What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about one from Warner Archive, and it is Superman the movie. This is the version from the late 70s. I still think it's one of the best superhero movies, but I'll get back to that a little bit later on. The story here is pretty typical Superman origin story stuff. Marlon Brando plays Superman's dad, and his parents jettison Superman off with Krypton's destruction soon to come. He lands on Earth. He's raised by two human adoptive parents who recognize immediately that he has some very special powers. They encourage him to kind of not abuse those powers and to keep them hidden, to blend in and just try to be like a normal person, productive part of society, which he honors. But then whenever his adoptive father dies, he kind of goes into soul searching, goes to the creates the Fortress of Solitude. Really struggles with his identity and his sense of purpose, and then he decides, I'm going to use my powers, for good, and I'm going to help people, and that's when he creates these dual identities of Clark Kent and Superman. He also, meets Lois Lane and falls in love with her, and then his activities kind of erase the attention of Lex Luthor, who is not happy to see somebody going around stopping criminals, since he, is a criminal himself. So that's the basic story. This is not a big stakes, end of the world kind of superhero story. It's a very personal, intimate one. Although you do have conflict because of, Lex Luthor stepping in and trying to kill Superman. The real conflict comes from Superman himself and trying to find himself, his identity, his purpose in life, how to navigate relationships with people with his unique, situation, which I really liked. A lot of more recent superhero movies tend to focus on action and special effects at the cost of everything else. Whereas here, it's got a little bit more of a deliberate pace. It's got good character development. It's got, especially in terms of Superman, it's got great character development of his, how he's coping with, being in this, environment that is, still foreign to him, even though he grew up there, and, how to kind of navigate all the social issues. But then I appreciated the way that it looks at Superman's relationship with Lois Lane. A lot of time is devoted to that relationship. And it's an interesting concept, between a normal person and a superhero. So it's just kind of cool to see that fleshed out a little bit. This movie does, I think, might kind of bore some people because it does have that deliberate pacing. But I think it moves pretty well, and there's not a lot of filler here. And I also think it might lose some people because this isn't a superhero movie that tries to be cool or hip. It's very earnest and sincere, and Superman almost has kind of like a naive, aw shucks kind of an attitude, which I think works really well, and especially Christopher Reeve really, delivers that really well. But I can see how those who are used to cool walking away from explosions kind of superhero movies, might not like that attitude here. One of the major knocks against this that I see from critics is that the special effects are hokey and dated. But this is a superhero movie, and if you look at, even very recent ones from Marvel that cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make, they can't even get basic green screen right. I mean, the special effects are horrible in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so it's really hard to hold that as a big knock against Superman just because the effects look hokey, because pretty much all superhero movies have pretty terrible special effects, so it's not like it's unique to this movie. Christopher Reeve, I think, is great. He will always be Superman to me. Much like Adam West will always be Batman to me. Christopher Reeve is Superman to me. He's great here. You got Margot Kidder, Gene Hackman, Ned Beatty. A lot of talent. I think the performances are really good. It feels like a comic book, but again, I can understand why people might want it to be cooler or hipper or have more of a, into the world feel, because I think that's what people tend to identify with superhero movies. So this this 2-disc set is very cool because it has the Richard Donner special edition director's cut version, which looks fantastic here. I think it's the same edition that was released on Blu-ray previously. And then it's also got extras, audio commentary track, 3 documentaries, screen tests, restored scenes, additional scenes, music only track, additional music cues. And then the real draw here is the TV version, which is the 3-hour-long version that was basically a holy grail for Superman fans for a long time. It was kind of having to be patched together from VHS tapes. Now we have an official version that was pulled from a print source. It looks fantastic. I wouldn't want to watch it every time I want to watch Superman, but I think it works surprisingly well, and it's just cool to see those extra scenes and to see them presented in such a high-quality manner. So I think this disc is definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of superhero movies or, Superman in general. That's my review of Superman the movie. I really like it. I still think it's one of the best superhero movies, but I like the more intimate, character-driven stuff more than the action CGI, and I know I'm in the minority in that opinion. But anyway, I appreciate you watching this review. If you want to check out my full written review, you can go to markfusion.com and check that out. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Letterboxd. I diary what I'm watching so you get an idea of what might be coming here soon. But the best way you can help me out is just to hit that sub button. It's free, easy, direct way to support me, help me to continue to grow, build this channel, and post even more movie reviews. And other way to help me is just to watch the videos, whether, going back and watching older ones or just keeping up with the newer ones. Every single view counts, and I really do appreciate it. And if you want to go that super extra mile for me, when you do visit my website, you can use my Amazon links, and I will put all the money I make from that into buying more movies to do even more reviews. So it's a nice little circle of life there. Thank you so much for watching this Superman review, though. I do greatly appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon.